nobody being built up, you know, that you can really look at and say, okay, this guy is going to be the future. Look at when John Cena entered back in 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle was in the ring, called out anybody in the back. It's like, I'm gonna fight anybody. This no-name guy that nobody had ever seen before comes walking out, gets in the ring. Angle's like, who are you? Why am I supposed to be impressed that you're out here? Cena, cut this promo like, I'm John Cena. I'm here to make my name. Went toe-to-toe with Angle, lost, but was made to look like a threat.
Yeah.
And then the Machine segue. They did the Halloween episode of SmackDown where they did the costume party, and John Cena was Vanilla Ice and started the rapping gimmick, which kind of took off. Had he not done that, where would John Cena be today? Just something to argue about extra. But John Cena, the creative team got behind John Cena. WrestleMania 20, he beats the Big Show,
right.
And then, in the match to win the U.S. title, he gave Big Show the FU, which is so impressive that 6 years later, every time he does it to Big Show, Michael Cole can't believe that John Cena has FU'd the Big Show. You would think he would get it into his head that
it's been done.
Done, yes. Which is a whole other topic about announcing later. But John Cena was made to look like a star. Now you have The Miz, who just beat Randy Orton, probably the number 2 guy in the company.
Right.
Did it by cashing in Money in the Bank, taking advantage, which has become played out, but it's, he's still the champ. He then had to have Michael Cole help him win a ladder match against Jerry Lawler, who Jerry Lawler is a big name.
Absolutely.
In Memphis.
But he's also 62 years
old.
He's
also 62, and the current WWE audience only knows him as an announcer. He is not. He's never been made to be. Even when he was feuding with Bret Hart, Mark Henry, he was never like, oh my gosh, Jerry Lawler.
Former AWA World Champion Jerry Lawler. It was
122-time Memphis champion. But he has to have Cole help him win a ladder match. Then he gets pinned by Jerry Lawler in a tag team match. Then he luckily beats Randy Orton in a tables match, and then gets beat by Jerry Lawler in a by count out. How does that build him up as a champion?
Right.
And Daniel Bryan has been pushed with the U.S. title, and granted he's done well, but then they had his match with Sheamus where Sheamus killed him in 30 seconds. Why did it have to be your U.S. champion? Why not give that spot to Zack Ryder, who's not doing anything?
Yeah.
But yeah, so if the creative team, the writers, will not push a guy and make a guy look strong. I mean, you can have a guy lose and still look good, as we said with the John Cena Kurt Angle. But when a guy is getting lucky pins or losing week after week, he's not. The fans aren't going to buy into him as being a credible threat. Miz is still, even though he's WWE champion, is coming in as the underdog.
Absolutely.
The fans will not be expecting him to walk out with the belt, especially since this is the start to the road to WrestleMania. How many people see The Miz being champion at WrestleMania?
Right. I think they did that too with Jack Swagger as champion, CM Punk, Sheamus. You have these guys. And I'm not going to say that The Miz isn't ready, but I feel like I think it's the creative team that's not ready. I mean,
and to just to hijack that real quick, Sheamus and Jack Swagger were not ready to be champion. They were not in a position where they could take the title and then run with it.
I was shocked that Jack Swagger, we were there in Phoenix when Jack Swagger won the Money in the Bank match. I was shocked that he won the match, and then I was shocked that he so quickly cashed it in and won.
Yeah. And, yeah, if it's one thing to push a guy that's not ready. But if a guy like Miz has built up, over the last year, has become borderline ready.
Yeah.
And even if he isn't at that point, holding the title and being a credible champion will push him over the edge. But it seems like you have that pecking order of John Cena, Randy Orton, Triple H.
And he'll be back soon.
And he'll be back. And, I mean, Shawn Michaels is out, but those are the guys that anytime someone new is put up against them, they will not win decisively. There will be shenanigans, countouts, DQs.
Table matches that,
Or matches where they don't really have to lose.
Right, yeah. It's easier to say that he pushed me through a table than I had to lay down and get the 3 count.
Yeah.
And it would not hurt Randy Orton's status or popularity or credibility if he were pinned by The Miz.
Right.
Like we said earlier, we've said in a previous post, the only way this business is going to survive is if the guys on top now start to help develop the guys who are coming up the ladder. Because, Randy Orton and The Miz are about the same age. They're both around 30 years old.
Yeah.
So it's not as if it's an old-timer putting over a young guy, but it's just sharing some of that spotlight and giving the fans something fresh. Randy Orton's been around for, 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to get a little bit of rotation in there.
And I think that's, you said it wouldn't hurt Randy Orton if he got pinned. Look at The Rock. I would say go back and look at how many times he got beat. I believe he lost to the Hurricane.
He did.
At one point.
Yeah.
If The Rock comes out tomorrow, or Monday on Raw, the fans are going to be like, oh, that dude got beat by the Hurricane that one time. Remember? They're going to be like, it's The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a point where Cena, Orton, Triple H are at that point in their careers where they cannot win another match. I think Chris Jericho is probably the only person who, over the last year, has lost many a match, and the fans still treat him like, he's top dog. And you can use Jericho as the example of first unified world champion, got put over Stone Cold, beat The Rock, both in the same night.
Mm-hmm.
Then got into a horrible storyline with Stephanie and treating her, cleaning up after her dog, and then was beat by Triple H at Mania, which kind of kind of showing that, oh no, Jericho's not on that level. They come back, Jericho comes back, builds himself back up after that, and gets to the point where, nobody cares that he loses anymore.
Yeah, he truly has reinvented himself. And the thing about Jericho, too, and I don't know if this is all Jericho or if this is part of the booking scheme, but, he put Evan Bourne over.
Yeah.
He put John Morrison over. And I think, had Evan Bourne not gotten hurt, I could see him climbing up. Mm-hmm. And John Morrison, I really think, is probably, if not the breakout guy for 2011, he's going to be in that top 5 group of guys, I think. And I think it is in part because, Jericho gave him that win.
I agree. It's, again, you have to sell the audience that the person you're pushing is worthy of that spot.